Hello everybody, welcome back to the e-learning space for MGM Higher Secondary School, Bokaro. This is the second video for Unit 2, Section B, Class 8 English Coursebook. As we already know, Unit 2 is based on the green, lovely nature. Today we are dealing with the lesson Back from the Brink. It is written by Rita Banerjee and Maya Khosla. In our last video, we read the chapter, understood it, and got to know about these two writers in detail. Today, we shall, in this video lesson, discuss the textual exercises and the assignments that you are supposed to do. Coming to the first exercise about the passage. You have to read the chapter to understand these. Answer these questions with reference to the context. These are first steps but positive ones towards a more sustainable future. Who took these first steps? When we read the story, we come to know that wildlife is decreasing in the forests of northeastern states, and the young generation and even some of the elderly men have decided to stop hunting and poaching these animals and to revive nature in their areas. So who took these first steps? The tribal people of northeastern states took these first steps. What two important steps were taken? First, they had banned hunting, self-imposed ban, and secondly, the ex-poachers, they had become the forest guides. In what way were the steps positive? These steps were positive because, as we know, they're trying to revive the wildlife population and to develop infrastructure for ecotourism. So these are good things. That is why they are positive. Coming to answer these questions, who are Tai, Maga and Jarjo? As we read the story, we understand these three people are young Naishi tribals who are helping the filmmakers to make their documentary. Why did Jarjo mimic the sound of a baby deer in trouble? Because he wanted to lure the mother deer and so that it could be filmed by the documentary makers. When did the filmmakers sojourn or temporary stay in Northeast begin? There are two parts to this question. What was their objective during their stay? So their sojourn began in the year 2002 in the Pakke National Park in Arunachal Pradesh. The objective was to film the rehabilitation of two Himalayan black bears cubs orphaned during hunting. What goal did the filmmakers intend to achieve through their latest efforts? The filmmakers wanted to document the extent of hunting, how much hunting has affected these forests, and to determine whether there is still hope for the wildlife of the northeastern states. Why have generations of tribal people in the northeast been hunting wild animals? Of course, they have been hunting wild animals because it has been a part of their tradition. They hunt these animals to provide themselves with food and bones and furs and feathers for decoration and rituals during festivals. What motivated the tribal people to hunt wildlife recklessly means without control. Because there was a demand in the market for the meat and products of these exotic species and wildlife species, it motivated the tribal people to hunt them recklessly and sell them in the markets. What shows that the young tribals were more concerned about their environment than traditions. When we read the story, we come to know that the tribals self-imposed ban on hunting. So they themselves wanted to stop hunting. So this shows they cared more about the environment than their traditions. They wanted to change the situation of the decreasing wildlife in their area. What positive example have some ex-poachers set? Why would this ensure a sustainable future? Some of the ex-poachers, especially in Manas of Assam, they decided to become forest guides, and they were using their knowledge to better use. Means instead of hunting, they were using to become guides of the forest to attract ecotourism and to revive the population of the wildlife in the forest. Why would this ensure a sustainable future? Because only when the wildlife is protected, and because they depend on the wildlife, it needs to be protected in order to have a sustainable future. Come to discuss and write. Do you think it was easy for the tribal people to decide on the ban? Why? I don't think it was easy for the tribal people to decide on the ban because they were depending on wildlife. Their tradition and culture was dependent on hunting the wildlife. That is why. They have been hunting for generations for their livelihood, and yet they decided they must stop. Preservation and protection of the environment is not a spectator sport. What does this mean? This simply means the preservation and protection of the environment is not a spectator sport because it means advocating. It means going ahead and taking care of the environment instead of just speaking about it, of how to take care, what to do. One has to preserve the environment. One has to serve not just as somebody who utilizes the environment and just do the talk. Means actions speak louder than words. So you have to preserve and protect the environment, and you don't have to just stand and watch or just say. You have to be an active participant. How should each of us be involved in the preservation of the environment? This is easy. You have read this in social studies, in environmental studies, in science, how to protect the environment. What can you do? How can you be involved? We can use reusable bags. We should cut down the use of single-use plastic. We should not use waste paper. We should not cut down trees. We should do afforestation. We should recycle and reuse. Save electricity when not in use. Save water. Carpool. Do not unnecessarily waste the non-renewable resources of energy. There are so many. The list is quite a few. So you have to understand this. Come to the next page. Expand words. You have to find words from the passage that mean the same as the phrases given below. To take out simply means extract. It is there in the story. To imitate someone or something, mimic. Send or go to live in another place, rehabilitation. To keep getting less and less, deplete or decline. To strengthen and support, sustain. I'm giving you the answers also, so please keep a note. The basic requirements of a city: roads, buildings, power supply, infrastructure. How to form adjectives. While we were doing this chapter in grammar, I told you nouns can be made into adjectives, verbs can be made into adjectives, and even adjectives can be turned into more adjectives. So here we can use ly, able and make adjectives, or we can just delete or add another suffix. Reddish, we are doubling d and writing ish. Chinese, we are removing a and using ese. Easily, we are adding I and making it into removing y, adding I and making it easily. Here are some more examples of how to make into nouns, make nouns into adjectives, verbs into adjectives, and adjectives into more adjectives. So this thing is your homework which you have to do in the book. You have to complete all the exercises in the book, obviously. So I'll just help you with random ones. Form adjectives from these nouns, verbs and adjectives. Whole, last one, wholesome. Rebel, rebellious. Dispose, disposable. 3 I have done for you, rest you will do on your own. We use adjectives ending in ing to describe a quality. The film was boring. The match was really exciting. We use adjectives ending in ed to describe a feeling or attitude. I was bored. I was really excited. So this is we have done in grammar as well. This is just an exercise revision which you will definitely do in the textual book. Come to exercise C. This you are going to do in the copy on your own. Just now we read how ing and ed adjectives are used, so please turn it into sentences. Amusing, amused, terrifying, terrified, surprising, surprised, challenging, challenged. You have to do this in your English copy. Coming to pronunciation part, say it right. V and W almost have similar kinds of sound, right? But when we speak them, the pronunciation should be different. How it is different? Let's see. When we use or speak a word that starts with a W or has a W, then your mouth, the lips should touch each other. Which, while, whisper, weather, wind, whale. It's almost like you're pouting your lips and touching each other. But when we say the sound of V, deliver, never. The lower teeth bites a little bit, the upper teeth bites your lower lips. Never. Television, variety. Because these are labiodental sounds. The V is a labiodental sound. Your lips and teeth work together. However, W is only a labial sound. Both your lips should touch each other while pronouncing W sounds. Whale, whale. Vein, vein. Went, went. Viper, viper. When you see the formation of the sound in a video, then only you can understand the difference. Come to the grammar part. Since we have just now completed the chapter of adjectives and grammar, this is your homework. You are going to do this in the book itself. It's a very simple one. You have to underline the adjectives in these sentences and you have to tell which types of adjectives these are. As you know, there can be adjective of quality, quantity, number, demonstrative adjective, possessive, distributive, interrogative, emphatic, and exclamatory. For example, isn't your brother in the 10th grade? 10th. This is number, right? Each child. Each is adjective and it is a distributive adjective. So in the same way, you're first going to find out all the adjectives in these sentences and then state of which type these are. And if you have any problems, doubts, we are going to discuss it in the online session. Fill in the blanks with the suitable adjectives. This is also right from your grammar book. Let us discuss this. We have dash time to visit both places. Any adjective will work. For example, we have enough time, ample time. These are adjectives of quality. There are dash wildlife sanctuaries in India. Many wildlife sanctuaries. These booklets talk about Project Tiger in great detail. Snow leopards are seen in only a few northern states. You will find some rare species of birds in this sanctuary. Quick, take out the camera or you won't get any good pictures. These are all adjectives. This is pair work, but you will do this on your own since we are not in a conventional classroom. Look how adjectives are arranged. Sometimes in a sentence, there may be more than 2 adjectives. So which adjective should be used first? That is the question. Look here in the blue box. When we use more than one adjective to describe a noun, the adjectives are placed in the following order: opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, purpose. I have bought a small vintage red multi-purpose vehicle. So you cannot say vintage small multi-purpose red vehicle. No, because there has to be a sequence. And what is the sequence? Opinion, then size or age or shape or color, origin, material, purpose. So the first example is blue fishing boat old. Old blue fishing boat. Old car red ugly sports. Old ugly red sports car. White little adorable puppy. Adorable little white puppy. Opinion, then size, then color. So you have to keep this in mind and do the rest in the book itself. Usage of adjectives and adverbs. Some adverbs and adjectives have the same form. He likes fast cars. Over here, cars is noun. So fast here is adjective. He drove fast on the highway. Drove is the verb which is being described by fast. Hence, over here, fast is adverb. So some words might look like adjectives and adverbs, but according to their usage, they vary. So if somebody tells you to find out whether this is an adverb or an adjective, what you have to do first is you have to stick to the definition. Find out if the word sticks to the definition. For example, the first one, preparing for an exam is hard work. First of all, which word is hard describing? Is it describing a noun or is it describing a verb? Work is noun and it is describing a noun. So the first one is adjective. They rise quite early in the morning. We are describing an action or are we describing a noun over here? This is being describing an action. They rise quite early. Rising is an action. So this is an adverb. Rest of the things you will do on your own, rest of the sentences in the same way. First see the word, then see whether it is describing a verb. If it is describing a verb, it is an adverb. If it is describing a noun, it is an adjective. Please complete this in the book itself. Time to write. This is another important article writing. The article writing has been discussed in an earlier video. You have watched that video and you have been given some exercises on it. Now, once again, you have an exercise here. An article for a school magazine is a piece of writing where the writer expresses an opinion about an issue and why she or he supports or does not support a certain idea. An article should be divided into paragraphs. One early paragraph should be about introduction, the opening statement, which will tell you what the article is about. Then the body of the article, give a maximum in 3 to 4 paragraphs supporting the details. Then write the conclusion by expressing an opinion or suggestion. So what are things you have to keep in mind while writing an article, especially for a magazine? First, you have to give the article an interesting title. Then you have to involve them by asking direct questions. Then you have to give examples in support of your opinion. And when the writing has been dealt with, it should be in clear and simple style. Use correct grammar and spelling. Now 3 topics are given here. Every family should have a pet animal or bird. All wild animals should be put in zoos. Buying and selling animals or birds for food should be stopped. This is the title that you will use. This is the topic that you will use. Any one of these topics, you will give it a suitable title and then write an article in it. And this you have to do in your English copy. Here's a high order thinking question. How would you make the area where you live a place where many kinds of birds and small wild animals could make their homes? So this is a subjective answer. How can you change your area or add something or delete something from your area so that many birds and animals of all shapes and sizes can come and stay? Let us come to your assignments. First of all, you will read the entire article once again and underline the difficult words. Try to find their meanings and learn it. The glossary that is given in the book, that also you are going to learn. You have to complete all the textual exercises in the textbook. I have discussed with you. You can just rewind the video, sit with your book and pencil and start completing the textual exercises. Then in your copies, you will do exercise A and B. That is the reference to context and the question answers. Then you will do exercise C from expand words, which is make sentences. Then you will write the article which I just now discussed, given on page 37 in your English copy, and based on the understanding of the chapter, what you have understood after reading about wildlife or whatever comes to your mind while you were reading the chapter, that you are going to draw and if possible color in your English copies. That brings us to the end of the lesson. I hope it is clear to you, and if there is any doubt, we shall discuss it in the online classes. So that's all for today.